tombs that have no mummies in it, that have no artifacts in it, that have writing about bodies and mummies being there. And we just always assume like somebody got them. It's on the black market. Yeah, somebody got them. But back in the day, there was a different market. People were eating mummies. They were literally powdering up mummies and eating them for different reasons. You know how rich people do it. They got money, they'll do whatever anybody say, just in case. You never know. It's a power thing. Man, they were eating mummies. They were eating so many mummies that we don't even know what happened. We don't know who they ate. There gotta be some documents on that. I'm looking into that too. There has to be documents on certain mummies that people purchased and ate. But we know they ate them. There's some videos on that. A little bit. We eat mummies, y'all. True story.
Why did people start eating mummies?
Ew!
What? The royal and social elite eating mummies seemed a royally appropriate medicine, as doctors claim mumia was made from pharaohs. Royalty ate royalty.
Oh my god.
By the 19th century, people were no longer consuming mummies to cure illness.
The 1800s had too much time on their hands, and obsession with Egyptology was rife in Europe. People started grinding up and eating Egyptian mummies as a cure-all. They were sometimes ground into a powder and eaten with honey. Other times, they were watered down into paste and applied as a topical ointment. It's likely because mummies were mixed up with mumia, a common natural ingredient in Islamic medicine for centuries.
There's this factoid going around, I've seen it here and there, that there's actually a shortage of Egyptian mummies in the world, that it's actually kind of rare to find them these days, because the majority of Egyptian mummies that have ever been found have been eaten by Victorians. For the record, that is a wild exaggeration, but it's also not much of a lie. So again, the Victorian time was this weird mix of terrible new ideas and terrible old ideas. So while some people were drinking irradiated water and causing their jaws to fall off, there was also this common belief going way, way back that ground up Egyptian mummies had medicinal properties. According to a 17th century physician, Dr. Robert James, mummies, or mumia as it was known, could serve as a blood thinner, painkiller, cough suppressant, anti-inflammatory, menstrual aid, and promotes wound healing. Yeah, spoiler warning, it does none of those things.
During the Victorian era, the British would eat Egyptian mummies because they believed they held medicinal powers.
There's no way that's real. I am once again asking you to please say this isn't real. Did people eat mummies?
Yeah.
Like dead people?
Yeah. No, they did it for literally centuries. Okay. People think that it was more commonly associated with just like the Victorian era and like, oh, rich people doing this because it was like, oh, something to show off their wealth, which I mean, yeah, it kind of was. But that whole practice was actually much, much older. Literally all around the world, like one of the things they would do is like called, there's a term for it. Mumia, I think is what it was called. Basically, the idea was you'd have a mummy, something that had been preserved, or the idea of mummification, which there's many different kinds of mummification, but people believed in like, for centuries, going back thousands of years, that if you powdered up the remains of like these old bodies, that it had like basically magical powers and that kind of thing, and then you consumed it, and it was medicine, and it would cure you of your illnesses.
Ew.
Did you know the British used to love eating mummies? That's right, they used to eat mummies because they thought it was good for them. Also, they turned them into paint. Mummy brown is a real color.
What are you eating?
You're not.
Stop, I am. They're gonna be so mad at you in a few years. Well, I'll be dead by then and they can eat me too. This is how we eat the plague. I've already got it.
Did people really used to eat Egyptian mummies? Unfortunately, the answer to that is yes. During the Victorian era, there was a really big obsession with ancient Egypt and mummies. There were even special parties called mummy unraveling parties where people would buy mummies and unwrap them. We even have an image here of a street vendor just selling mummies on the street to whoever wanted to buy them. So yes, Europeans did in fact ingest mummies, especially the skulls of them. They were prescribed as medicine for various illnesses, and people did start to eat them and import them. Eventually though, mummies became a bit scarce, and they even started using regular unmummified corpses. So when people say how come there was no bodies found in certain tombs, well, this is one of the most likely reasons, due to European raiding for various reasons.